On the 1st of April 2021, I uploaded a video about a top-secret marketing strategy all about how Zezima was an inside job directed by ModMark. There was a good balance of responses, honestly. Some thought it was real, some didn't, and some couldn't decide. Not bad for an April Fool's. Zezima is, without a doubt, the most famous player in RuneScape's history. His incredible legacy stretches back to the first year of RuneScape's life. And even long after his golden years from the 2007 era, he is a household name that all players old and new will know. Heck, the guy was even recognized by Cartoon Network as an idol amongst children. The man is a living legend, but almost no one even knows who he is. Most haven't even heard his voice. It's such an enticing mystery. Everyone wants to know the man behind the mask. It wouldn't be too hard to fool people about who he is, but what about making people think he was a fraud? So yesterday, me and my friend CS1, who I write videos on occasion with, came up with this idea. This April 1st joke for 2021 that is going to require quite a lot of work, right? We basically want, assuming the idea works as it's supposed to, is gonna make the RuneScape community think that Zezima never existed. Building the idea was simple. As Zezima was already playing RuneScape in the classic days, it wasn't hard to match his history up to a J-mod who was around at the same time, ModMark. And funnily enough, a lot of the timelines actually matched up nicely. Zezima did become big on RuneScape right after Mark joined, and Zezima also both quit and returned at times when RuneScape badly needed it. When Zezima disappeared, so did Mark. It all fit the theory really nicely. It could actually work. Now, at the tail end of last year, I hadn't been uploading many videos. While I still had a good archive of comedy content for 2020, I'd made one video in March for archaeology, which somehow got me nominated for another gnome, thanks, and a joke video about the interface for Steam players in October. If I randomly made an upload on April 1st in 2021, there's no way I would have fooled anyone. The pieces were there. I just needed to find a way to make people overlook the upload date. It had to feel organic. It had to appear as if uploading on April 1st was just nature's work, not a planned event. So we got an idea. This wasn't going to be a random upload on April 1st. It was going to be the culmination of an entire series of videos. A number of other serious documentaries building up to April Fools. A rebranding of the channel from the comedy perspective to videos that would be extremely well researched, contain interviews, and have never before seen videos and pictures of famous events, all to prove that we had the contacts and the means to get the information that would suggest Zezima isn't real. So we prepared 12 videos. One video every single Thursday up until the most important day of them all, Thursday, April 1st, 2021. With 3 months of consistent uploads and the steady building of a credible track record each Thursday, we put ourselves in the best position we could. Sure, some people wouldn't believe anything they saw on April 1st, but for many, we'd convinced them it was just unfortunate timing. As you can tell, we have quite a few videos lined up for the next while. You can see it was edited 15 minutes ago. The date is the 11th of 2020. It's almost the day after. It's almost Friday now. And as you can see, the RuneScape's longest kept secret is going to be the Zezima video. Me and Charles have been talking for quite a while with the idea that we're going to basically try to trick ModMark into saying that he's Zezima. Told you we planned this in advance. We started with the first week of January and stuck to it. Every week I made a new tweet and a new community post talking about the video coming up on Thursday, so people knew it was our regular upload day. And I did this every week up until April 1st, where we would drop our most serious documentary yet. And hey, it worked out for us. When we made the Rab documentary, Rab himself got in touch with me as a result, which meant we could use him as a key figure in our April Fool's story. Being the star of one documentary and an important figure in another, people would know who he was well before April 1st, and really help the whole thing feel more organic. Just like the Zezima Mark timelines, sometimes life just works out really nicely. Now, that's all well and good, but we weren't done just yet. The framework for the idea was there, but we still needed to solidify the video itself. Sure, the timeline of Zezima and Mark was real, and their typing pattern did actually match, but you could probably do the same for a number of other people. We needed something more concrete to hold the idea together, a load-bearing pillar to build upon. So we got in touch with Mod Mark himself and pitched the idea in December 2020, sending him a document of the basic outline of the idea and some pieces of coincidental evidence alongside some other things we'd fake. Mark thought it was weak, but he agreed to help. The best way that he could help was to drop a hint somewhere that would not only support the theory, but could also be used as direct evidence to tie him to Zezima, something that he would have in common with the legend, but was still subtle enough that it didn't seem planted. So Mark decided to do his part in an anniversary lore stream back in January 2021.
Hey, hello, I'm Mod Mark. I didn't start the company. In 2003. I played RuneScape for a little bit before then.
Mark planted the idea that he had played for a while before 2003. He'd actually told JD to ask some specific questions to take it further, but JD didn't end up using them. As a result, Mark followed up with a tweet saying that he used the Grind Slayer back in the days, just like Zezima. We finally had some glue to hold the idea together. It was a few weeks later when Rab got in touch with me. We really did have a 6-hour chat, and he did tell me a lot of interesting stuff that I will make a video on. Neither of those were lies. But what I didn't say was that, a few days later, I asked if he'd be up for joining the April Fool's joke, an offer he took me up on. Now, Mark's evidence was nice, as while it was a bit basic, it was real, and people could go and look it up themselves. Rab's, on the other hand, was faked. With his permission, I faked a chat with him where we talked about a supposed marketing strategy from 2003. Sorry everyone, the Modcoy stuff is false, as far as we know. It was all coming together, but there was one last person who could really sell it for us. The king himself. So I asked Zezima if he wanted to lend his aid, but he didn't. Now don't get me wrong, Zezima didn't mind us doing it, I wouldn't have gone through with it if he did. But he didn't feel comfortable adding fuel to the fire through a planted tweet or the like. Zezima already has a mountain of players digging through everything he does in search of who he is, and he didn't want to add more fuel to that fire. He wouldn't speak out and say our video was fake on the day of release, at least, as long as we made it clear it wasn't April Fool's the day after. So we took everything we had and wrote the script. I double-checked it with a careful selection of RuneScape players who would tear it apart and highlight any missing links they found, making sure there was nothing that would put a doubt on the whole idea. And when we had an unanimous response of "sounds legit enough," the video was recorded, edited, and released. And it was done. Months of preparation, hundreds of hours of work, and it was finally out. The results were pretty much what we expected. We weren't going to fool everyone, but we fooled enough. So I'm happy with the response. All throughout, I was hoping it would be kind of like the National Geographic mermaid documentary. Even though it would be revealed as an obvious fake the day after, it would still be good entertainment. I'd like to think we accomplished that. And so, that's where the road has led us now. All the documentaries I've been making were just to make this one feel more credible. This was the stopping point, but to tell the truth, I don't want to stop. See, the response to these documentaries have been great. I've enjoyed making them, people have enjoyed watching them, and it's given me some of the best motivation I've had for YouTube in a long time. Especially after a 2-year period where I've really struggled to find my new place in RuneScape video making. So I'm not going to stop. I've been contacted by so many players with interesting stories to share from all manner of RuneScape's history, from events big and small. And I want to keep sharing these stories over the coming months. And now that we're firmly out of April Fool's territory, I've got some really exciting news I've been holding on to for a couple weeks. Next video, we hit an all-time high in how far these documentaries reach, because I'm going to uncover RuneScape's biggest unsolved mystery, the mysterious perk. No jokes, no fakes. I've been given a whole lot of new information from its 2 developers, and I have a pretty good theory on what it does. You know the schedule by now. I'll see you Thursday. My name is Will Miss It, and goodbye.